Hi, my name is Mark, welcome to Gamers Web, and today I'm going to take a quick look through the World of Cyberpunk 2077. This is a part and info book for the upcoming game from CD Projekt Red of the same name. I've been waiting for this for quite a while. I've actually had it for a few weeks, but I've just not had a chance to actually do a review of it or look through it. Okay, so always take it to the edge. It's the cyberpunk way. Step into a dark future where violence and oppression and cyberware implants are just as common, they're necessary tools to get ahead. Explore the various districts, gangs and history of Night City. Learn all there is to know about the technology of tomorrow and the research, the cybernetics, weapons and vehicles of 2077. Dark Horse Books and CD Projekt Red presents an extensive examination of the rich lore of Cyberpunk 2077. This intricately assembled tome contains everything you need to know about the history, characters, and the world of the long-awaited role-playing game from the creators of the Witcher video game series. Right, okay, so if you've been paying attention to... sorry, for some reason my speaker's going off. If you've been paying attention to the worlds of computer games for the past 3 years now, CD Projekt Red, they're the guys who did the Witcher series of games, including the almost flawless Witcher 3. It's got flaws, it's full of bugs, but it's one of the best ways to craft a story that I've seen in a hell of a long time. Really, really good game, and it's really well loved. A few years ago, they struck a deal with Talisorian, the producers of the Cyberpunk pen and paper role-playing game, and they announced they were going to do a Cyberpunk game, and the video that they did went viral very, very quickly, and it looked absolutely amazing. And now the game is not that far off, so we're going to have a quick look through the book, and I'm not going to stop too much of it, but basically Cyberpunk is something that's been very, very dear to my heart for a long, long time. So without further ado, if I can lift my thing up, there we go. Okay, so we've got this lattice, which is like a net interface on the inside sleeve, and then we've got our introduction to the world of Cyberpunk 2077. The one thing that's always got me about Cyberpunk that I've always loved is the artwork, and there is some phenomenal artwork in here. So we've got a lot of things that are just grabbed straight from the actual game itself, from both the miniature game, the role-playing game and the computer game. And Mike Pondsmiths, the creator of Cyberpunk from Talisorian, did an amazing job actually crafting a world that is believable, that you wouldn't really want to live in, but you want to know more about, because Cyberpunk is very dystopian. It's a very dark future, and unfortunately, the original Cyberpunk was set in 2020. A lot of the things that Mike wrote down, they're kind of premonitions, because some of those things are actually coming true, unfortunately. Okay, so we've got our introduction to Night City. Night City is this metropolis that is built in the west coast of America, in the Bay Area of San Francisco and California. Okay, so the book's split up into different chapters. So chapter 1 deals with the modern world and the rise of Night City, shanty towns. Then we've got the corporate wars, fourth corporate war, which took place in the 1990s. Some amazing artwork. This is armoured Militech units deployed to the battlefield from an air carrier, South America, July 2022. Now, that's only 2 years off. Real water, only 99 euro dollars a gallon. Contact your local dealer. Crazy. So there's these kind of adverts are everywhere throughout the book. This is insurance, pollution in your sector, we can help. Call World Insurance now. Okay, so we've got the reunification, which goes from 2035 to 2069, and then we get into the current day history, which is from 2077. As you see on this picture here, we have, the artwork is absolutely phenomenal. Unfortunately, I don't know the names of all the artists. There are a few of the artists in here that I've recognised, but I don't know the names of all the artists in here, and I wish I did, because these guys are brilliant. So Everybody in Night City carries a gun. Whether you're a kid or an adult or an old age pensioner, you carry a gun because you need it for protection, because you never know what's going to happen, whether you're going to go to the shops or go to school or open your front door and someone's going to be there with a gun to take what's yours for themselves. So as such, everybody carries weapons openly. As you can see here, we have these guys. There's 2 kids, 2 adults, and granddad. The granddad's got his power assist on. They've all got budget arms weapons. Budget arms make literally what they say, budget arms. They're one of the arms manufacturers and dealers in the game, and they make disposable guns, so they can do weapons that you just shoot, and when they run out of ammo, you throw them away. And that's one of their promo things, is standing in front of the American flag. And it says, the blurb is, weapon manufacturers often use modern society's ubiquitous sense of insecurity as leverage to increase their sales. And then we now have to look at the technology tomorrow. Now, so with Cyberpunk, because it's set in a dystopian future, we have things such as neural interfaces which allow you to control machines with your minds, cybernetic implants from eyes and arms and fingers, legs, hearts, lungs, all that kind of stuff, to full-on body prosthesis where you completely become a cyborg, more or less, and then even things to enhance your sexual performance, like such as Mr. Stallion or Miss Universe, which we'll see a little bit later on, because sex and sexuality and identity all seem to be blurred in Cyberpunk, and it's we'll get to that when we come on to it. But as you see here, we got a guy who's actually jacked in. He's being ready as a pit stop because he's an athlete. Okay, and then here we have Ripperdoc. A Kabuki Ripperdoc examines the functionality of his client's recently added implant. So Ripperdocs are backstreet vendors who supply you with cyberware, illegally or legally, depending on where you go. Obviously, if you're working for one of the big corps, you get a lot of help from them. So a lot of things that we have in Cyberpunk is fashion. It's very, very fashionista, especially with this kind of stuff here. It's retro, but it's still future looking, and often people will augment fashion with cybernetics. So whether that's eyes, hands, arms, or even having the lower mandibles taken away, the lower jaw taken away and replaced with something else, which we'll see in a moment. As we can see here, some more art. That's a 4-string arm covering an infant's quality real skin. So real skin is basically a cybernetic skin that's designed to look and feel just like real skin, and is quite often very, very resilient to fire or acid and stuff like that, as well as being soft. This is one of the characters in the game. He's one of the characters from the original 2020 role-playing game that came out in the 1980s. This is Adam Smasher. He works exclusively for the company Arasaka, which is one of the big mega corporations. They're the big bad guys, one of the big bad guys in the game, and also in the universe of Cyberpunk. He got blown up, and all that was left of him was little bits of his body and his brain, and he didn't want to die, so he agreed to have his body put into a Borg. So he's a full-on cyborg. All that's left is like part of his brain and his brain stem, and he is totally insane. He's suffering from something called cyberpsychosis, which is when you have too much cybernetics in your body, and your body starts to react against it and rebel, because we're not designed like that. Human beings aren't designed to be like this. Okay, so advert for eyes. So cyber optic eyes, and then arms, and then lots more really great artwork here. Okay, now we get onto weaponry, gun culture and gun laws in Night City. The little blurb here says, who owns a gun in Night City? Anyone who can afford one. Who carries a gun openly? Generally only folks who use it on a daily basis. Law enforcement officers, corporate security officials, mercenaries and gangers. People who also run businesses in public places, vendors or taxi drivers. Also, for example, who carry a gun openly for their own safety and to protect their livelihood. But you can carry a gun. Then we've got the bylaws here, like gun laws in 27.7 America haven't changed much since the turn of the century. The Second Amendment to the US Constitution is as sacred as ever, especially now that violence is in the streets is so rampant. Reunited States gun laws are still regulated by the federal government, whilst the specifics vary from state to state and locality. Concealed carry became the norm everywhere, and open carry is allowed outside the city limits and tolerated in most suburban areas. Very scary that Mike and the guys who did this back in 1988-89 were very, very accurate. I mean, we're coming to a state now where gun culture in America is rampant, absolutely rampant. See, the Second Amendment is not only for the rich. It's quite a scary time to live at the moment as it is, but it's getting eerily close to cyberpunk. Okay, so we have some of the major weapons manufacturers. So we've got like Arasaka, Militech. They're the two big guys. They're the two big players. And we've got Budget Arms, Midnight Arms, Meloria, Tsunami, Kangtao, Nakata. Lots of different ones. Tech Pokva, which is a Russian one. There's a big influence between Russia and Japan in Cyberpunk 2077, especially Japan, obviously, because of the influence of Arasaka and Kanto and other Japanese companies. Okay, so great artwork. The weapons look real. The pictures look real. They're actually artwork, but they look really good. And here we have a Militech Flathead, which is a all-purpose drone. It's got a lot of hardware on it that allows it to do multiple roles. From basically, it just can go in and surveillance. It can see in infrared, ultraviolet, and lots of other different things. And this is also equipped with stealth technology to allow it to actually blend itself into the background. And here we've got a Ganger who's got full face augmentation, because he's one of the factions that do that, which I can't remember the name of. Tech ammo, so like flechette ammo, this kind of stuff, rail flechettes. These are rounds that when they shoot out, they splinter into dozens of little tiny projectiles, so they cause lots and lots of aggravated damage. Then we've got things like monoblades and katanas and things like that. We have vehicles, because obviously you need to get around in 2077. There's a lot of vehicles from the game that have made it onto this. I think there's 29 different vehicles that you can have, with about 6 or 7 variants of each of them. And if you look at this one here, this one's obviously inspired by a DeLorean. It looks very, very much like a DeLorean. And you know, you got your pickup trucks and stuff. And this is the Quadra Turbo, is the car that the character that you play, hijacks at the beginning of the game. That's going to be your car throughout the game. Then we've got the different companies who make the cars. So as you see, there's no real world companies there, but they're similar. And we've also got motorbikes with a nod to things like Akira. Okay, so brain dancing is when you experience the memories of other people via a neural interface, and basically you jack into their memories and their experiences. And this could be for investigative purposes. It could be for sexual purposes, because a lot of people record brain dances of them having sex with somebody or what have you. And it can also be flatline brain dancing, which is when you're reliving someone's dying moment. So basically you get the experience of dying without actually dying, and people get addicted to these things. It's like a narcotic. If you've seen the film Strange Days with Angela Bassett, and God, my brain's gone. The guy out of who plays Rocket Raccoon in Guardians of the Galaxy. That's something similar to a brain dance. And my brain's gone now. I can't remember who plays Rocket Raccoon. Okay, so as you see here, 3 mouse, 1 desire. It's all sexual, wet dreams. Now, nudity is something that's quite prevalent in 2077. People are not embarrassed about being naked. In fact, a lot of people actually, you know, really they augment their bodies to such a thing that their bodies becomes works of art. So, like, problems with brain dancing, and Bart Moss and the Death of the Old Net. So this is basically the internet, as we know it now, kind of died because of a set of hackers called netrunners, and it's still available in 2077, but in a different format. This is all about how the internet looks today, and then we have people who are called netrunners who go onto the internet and they get their information. Information is a currency in 2077. That's a neural jackpot, which basically allows you to attach a jack straight into your cerebral cortex and control things using your brain, as well as let me say hacking things, acting as a courier, as you see here, security you can trust. First 80 gigabytes is free of charge. So this is a cyber courier. Basically, it's a mnemonic data transfer, a bit like in Johnny Mnemonic, the movie with Keanu Reeves, where he's carrying information in his head on a chip. And then we go to Night City itself. So we'll have a look at what Night City is like. And so that's Richard Knight. He's the person that Night City is named after. And then we have the different areas of Night City. So Watson is like quite a large area. It's a central area. Little China, Kabuki, and then an industrial area. Arasaka's waterfront. Watson Hall. New episodes 10 PM on Wednesdays. Only on WNS. Then we've got Westbrook. It's got like things like Japantown, and then Charter Hill, North Oak, City Centre. So these got Haywood, which is like one of the most noticeable areas in the city. So it's got its own dedicated section to Haywood. Now these are all parts of the game where you can actually visit these, and some of these you'll have seen in the actual previews and demos and what have you over the past 3 years. The game's due out on November the 19th, so eagerly waiting on that. Pacifica, so there's the Bay Area. Now this was designed as a Hollywood, as like a theme park type thing, but kind of didn't happen. And then we've got like the rich and the powerful, and going down to down and outs. So we go from the corporate ladder. You've got the people who live right at the top in the ivory towers, right down to people who live on the streets. And corporations, they're the guys who run everything. From the food you eat and the places you live in, and the energy that you consume, to the guns you carry, the drugs you use, the sex you have with people, because a lot of them own sex industries and sex workers and stuff like that. And prostitution is not illegal. In fact, it's open, and it's legitimized in some senses. Here's the big players though. We've got Arasaka, which are a Japanese company. Militech, which is a American company, which is an arms dealer. And then we have Kangtao and Night Corp. And then the smaller ones, like Kadashi and what have you. Alright, so smugglers, middle tier, kid playing a game with a gun. And now in king size, Abydos, it's up to you. Oh, sorry. It warms you up, sorry, right, so it's a sexual relief thing. And here we have our first glimpse at one of the heroes of the game, or an anti-hero of the game. Where's Johnny? Where's Johnny is actually talking about Johnny Silverhand, who is a famous rocker boy who disappeared around 2029 in the game's timeline, and is presumed dead, which we don't know. He is actually dead because his avatar is in throughout the game, and his avatar is voiced and likeness of Keanu Reeves. And law enforcement, so police have their hands really full in Night City, as you can imagine. Then we have the gangs. So we've got, like, this is a voodoo boy, and we've got lots of different gangs. So voodoo boys, Maelstrom are the ones who, the guy at the beginning with the drone, they believe in augmenting their bodies and replacing them with cybernetics. Animals, they implant animal-like features on themselves, so they'll implant claws and fangs, have their bodies tattooed so they look like bears or cheetahs or what have you, and they are very much into getting up close and personal. The voodoo boys, as I just mentioned, these guys are normally of Creole and Asian descent, and they've all got their own turrets. These guys deal more or less entirely with information and net running. They're all very, very competent net runners. 6th Street, these are a militia gang. They were formed out of one of the corporate wars, the survivors of a corporate war, and they think it's their civic duty to actually protect the people of Night City, but they actually cause as much problems as everybody else. And then we've got the Mocks, which are all sex workers, male and female, androgynous, who rebelled against the state and started taking control for themselves. We have got Tiger Claw, which is a derivative of the Yakuza, and Valentinos. They're descended from Latin Americans and Hispanics, and they've all got this very suave gold appearance and stuff like that. And then these are the nomads, I think, aren't they? Yeah, these are just nomads. They live outside of the city. They run numbers and things and information. So nomads and roaming refugees, these live outside the city, as I was just saying. They provide information. They're couriers. They carry information from one place to another, and that's one of the corporate life paths you can have. So like, these are the two big factions. So you've got the Al Qaedas and I can't remember what these ones are called, the Wraiths, and that's the ones. And then you've got edge runners and mercenaries. So that's one of the characters of the game. And there we go. So that's just a quick look through the game, through the book of the game. The game itself is due out on November 19th. Well worth checking out. Also, whilst I've got you, visit Talisorian and check out Cyberpunk 2030 and Cyberpunk Red, and Cyberpunk 2020 is still available. Brilliant game. If you like movies like Blade Runner or Blade Runner 2049 or Dark City or The Matrix or anything like that, you'll really love Cyberpunk. It's a very easy game to play, and the background is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of the best role-playing backgrounds there is out there. As always, I've been Mark. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this. Any comments, please leave down below, and I'll try and answer them if I can do. Until next time, take care. No matter where you are in the world, stay safe, and thanks for watching.